Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with a 2021 Alumicraft number 122 Class 1 Buggy. Now this has 1,356 horsepower, 1,021 pounds-feet of torque, from a 7.5 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself weighs 3,918 pounds, now has an all-wheel drive to go along with its off-road tyres and off-road suspension that it already had, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.015 seconds. 0 to 104.122 seconds, and going to a top speed of 187 miles an hour. So yeah, this is following on from the RJ Anderson Pro 4 truck, which did incredibly well in the previous episode. Got all the way up to 3rd place, which is despite the handling not being particularly great. Now this does have less power and more weight than that car, but this does also have a better top speed and better handling. So yeah, and the braking isn't too far off either. So yeah, could go either way with this, but I hope it does well because yeah, the RJ Anderson was a massively impressive vehicle. So hopefully this can continue that success. This is the first Alumicraft vehicle we've had on this series, but there are at least 2 others to try out after this one. One of which is part of the rally adventure that this car was released part of, and another one that has been in the game for since it launched. So yeah, so let's see what we can do. So we should have no trouble with the bumps and the jumps, given it's got all of that ground clearance. Already came with off-road tyres, which are now just wider at the front and rear. Gives extra grip. The main thing is whether or not it can handle not only the extra power, as it has a roughly 900 extra horsepower over its stock power output, but also whether or not it can deal with the all-wheel drive system, as this was rear-wheel drive originally. As yeah, adding all-wheel drive can more often than not produce understeer. Still feel like it has more positives than negatives, but yeah, it can definitely produce understeer. Kind of need it when you upgrade the power on a car like this to such a degree. It only had a roughly, I think, 430 horsepower, or near enough 500 horsepower originally, so definitely well over twice what it had originally. Big jump. Also handled that well. Acceleration on this also isn't quite as good as the RJ Anderson vehicle, purely because that has, yeah, well, it did have nearly 400 horsepower over us, and a lot more in the way of torque, so yeah, and with it being lighter, that also helps its acceleration, but this is hardly a slow car. Quite as stable as the RJ Anderson vehicle, does seem to want to lift up at times. Typically these buggies do have quite a soft suspension. We weren't able to upgrade it. So yeah, nothing that can be done about that. Try and manage it while racing it down here, which I think we're doing pretty well, quite frankly. Doesn't feel as fast as the RJ Anderson though, which yeah, was hilariously quick at times. As this does seem to struggle with the understeer a little bit more, whereas the RJ Anderson had all-wheel drives in its standard form, so anything extra for it to deal with, so it's kind of an advantage to that car on that regard. Yeah, we're not going to be as quick, but we're still going to be far from the slowest. Yeah, disappointing in comparison to the RJ Anderson, but still 3 minutes 21.143 is hardly a slow time. That puts us comfortably into the top 40, as we are quicker than the likes of, there's a lot of cars that are around the 3 minutes 21 mark. We're quicker than the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, only just so, by 0.017 of a second, which isn't very much at all. Also quicker than the Audi RS7 Sportback, the Ford Mustang Mach E1400, the Nissan Safari Z 370Z Safari Rally Tribute, the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, and other off-road vehicles like the Jimco Hammerhead Class 1, which was also part of the Rally Adventure expansion pass, as well as the Aston Martin DBX, Toyota Hilux 8038 and the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. So yeah, and other hardcore off-road competition like the Honda Ridgeline Baja Trophy Truck, the Hoonigan Volkswagen Baja Beetle Scumbug, and the Sierra Car 700R. So yeah, no way near as quick as the RD Anderson from the previous episode, which was a good near 8 seconds quicker than this, but still, it was reasonably quick, and yeah, had good acceleration, dealt with most of the bumps and the stuff really rather well. It's just really the understeer that ultimately stopped it from being any quicker, because yeah, it was really slowing the car going into corners, and yeah, any of the faster corners as well, I wasn't able to be as confident, given I know the understeer is there and it could have easily plagued it getting around a corner at any point. So yeah, definitely had to be a little slower because of the understeer. Certainly wasn't as confident as the RJ Anderson, but still far from a slow time, and it's not the slowest by any means in comparison to the other vehicles that we've used on this series from the Rally Adventure expansion. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.